The announcement hits at exactly noon, broadcast on every screen in the Ironvale Academy main hall. Bottom rank. Zero combat aptitude growth across 3 semesters. Effective immediately. Expulsion. 300 students stare. Ren Solis stands at the center of the hall with his hands in the pockets of his gray jacket, and he doesn't flinch, doesn't argue. His eyes are flat, silver, unreadable. He's been flat and unreadable for as long as anyone can remember. It didn't help him. It didn't save him. Cade Voss steps forward from the apex line, the top 12 students, standing in the front row like a wall of polished armor. Cade is everything Ren isn't. First rank, S-class dual element attunement, the kind of face that gets posted on academy recruitment posters. Dead weight, Cade says. Loud enough to carry. He doesn't even look at Ren when he says it. He's looking at the room. This is what happens when someone confuses attendance with talent. Some people aren't built for this. Someone laughs. Then a few more. Headmaster Orland slides a single laminated card across the podium. A Grace Day pass. 24 hours to collect belongings and vacate the dormitories. Standard procedure for expulsions. Ren picks up the card, nods once, walks toward the exit. He's almost at the door when it happens. It starts as heat, a slow, deep burn behind his sternum, like an ember that's been sitting there for 3 years waiting for enough oxygen to catch. Then the system window opens, not his normal one. A new one layered underneath, dark bordered, text in a color he's never seen before. Mirror Seed, Parasite Class, Dormant Active. Activation Condition, Complete Social Nullification Achieved, Function. Observe any skill in active use. Store it permanently, no ceiling. Current stored skills, 0 observation range, 40 meters. Duration unlimited, Ren stops walking. He reads it twice. Then he looks back over his shoulder at the 300 students still murmuring, at the apex line dispersing, at Cade Voss already talking to someone else like Ren stopped existing the moment the card left the podium. He looks at the Grace Day pass in his hand. 24 hours, he turns around. The first hall he enters is the elemental drill room on the 3rd floor. Second years run fire-shaped cycles in pairs, snapping controlled bursts at practice dummies. Ren sits down on the bench by the door like he's tying his shoe. He watches for 4 minutes. Mirror Seed, fire-shaped burst, stored Mirror Seed, condensed arc, stored. He gets up and moves to the next hall. This is how it goes for the first 6 hours. He doesn't draw attention. He's the expelled kid collecting his things. Nobody cares where he walks. The Grace Day pass means he's technically still on grounds. He drifts from hall to hall, from training yard to sparring, ring to the open-air combat track on the roof. He watches drills. He watches duels. He watches the Apex class run their afternoon conditioning session from 30 meters away, leaned against the wall with his arms folded, and the Mirror Seed feeds like it's been starving for 3 years. Cade Voss runs his signature, the Shatter Step sequence, a 3-beat ground crack pattern that transfers kinetic force from the legs into a pressure burst at arm range. Ren watches all 3 repetitions. The 4th time, he already knows the weight distribution and the timing window. Mirror Seed, Shatter Step sequence, rank, Cade Voss, stored. By midnight, the count is at 43. By the time the academy lights go to low power at 2 in the morning, it's 51. Ren sits on the edge of his stripped dormitory bed and opens the full list. 51 skills. Fire Shape, Wind Lance, Barrier Weave, Seismic Step. 3 different sword form accelerations. 2 healing pulses from the support track. The Apex class's full rotation. Every signature they've shown in open training. All of it sitting in a mental library that feels like holding a live wire. He should leave. The pass says Dawn. He opens his academy-registered profile on his student terminal. The Inter-Academy Open Tournament starts at 8 in the morning, one building over at the Ironvale Tournament Annex, open bracket. Any unaffiliated or walk-in competitor can register for a flat fee. No school enrollment required. Ren closes the terminal, lies back on the bare mattress, and stares at the ceiling. He shows up at 7:50, pays the fee, lists his affiliation as independent, takes his tournament bib and sits in the waiting area while Ironvale's enrolled teams run warm ups on the adjacent floor. He can see the Apex class from here. Cade is doing arm circles, looking like he already knows the outcome of every match today. Ren closes his eyes and runs through the list once more. 51 skills. He picks 12. The bracket pairs him against a 3rd year from a visiting academy in the first round. The kid has a solid wind lance technique, tight, well-drilled, straight out of the regional standard form. Ren lets the first shot come in, steps inside the range, and returns it. Not a counter, not a block. The exact same form, same charge time, same trajectory. The 3rd year stops moving. How? Second shot. Match over. In the second round, the opponent is from Ironvile's B-tier class. He knows Ren's face. He recognizes the gray jacket. He laughs. They let expelled students enter, he says. The match takes 42 seconds. Ren uses a condensed art technique the B-tier student himself demonstrated in a public training session 6 weeks ago. The look on his face when the familiar pressure signature hits him from the wrong direction is the most satisfying thing Ren has felt in 3 years. The semifinal puts him against an Apex class alternate, a girl named Sail, who runs a barrier pressure hybrid that the judges have been watching all morning. She's fast. The barriers are layered, 4 deep, each one tuned to a different frequency. Nobody in the morning bracket got through the second layer. Ren doesn't try to break through. He uses the barrier weave form he copied from the support track, same frequency tuning, same layering logic, and builds a countershell. Then he fires through the gap in the 4th layer that Sail's own form creates every time she resets. She stares at him from across the arena floor. Where did you learn that? Ren picks up his jacket from the ground, where he shed it for the match. I watched you practice, he says. You reset the 4th layer half a beat slow on the left side. She doesn't answer. The judge calls the result. The final is Cade Voss. It was always going to be Cade Voss. He walks out onto the floor and sees Ren and goes still for exactly 2 seconds. Then the smile returns. Wide and controlled, the kind of smile that has never taken anything seriously. You stayed, Cade says. I had until dawn. Dawn was 3 hours ago. Then I'm already gone, Rensa says. This is just the last thing I'm doing before I leave. Cade comes in fast, the shatter step sequence. First beat, exactly the way he ran it in afternoon conditioning, the way he's run it 100 times. The ground cracks on the impact point. The pressure burst fires at arm range. Ren is already outside the range. Not because he was faster. Because he knew beat 2 was coming, and beat 2 requires a half step left to load the kinetic transfer. He was already standing where Katie would end up. He uses beat 3. The same ground crack, the same pressure burst, the same range, the same timing, applied from behind while Katie is still expecting his own move to land. Cade goes down hard, one knee, then both. He stays there for a moment, hands on the floor, looking at nothing. The hall is quiet. Apex class members in the spectator section, the ones who laughed at noon the day before, are all very still. Ren doesn't say anything. He picks up the champion's bib from the judge's table, the one they hand you at the end, and he folds it and puts it in his jacket pocket. Then he walks toward the exit. Wait, Cade says behind him. His voice is different now. The performance is gone. What even is your skill? What class is that? Ren pauses at the door. Yours, he says, all of yours. He walks out into the morning, expelled student turned open tournament champion, name already posting to the regional leaderboard under independent. No academy listed, no affiliation, just a rank. First, behind him, the Ironveil Apex class sits in silence, and somewhere in a headmaster's office, a Gray Stay pass is already 1 hour expired.